time for some table tennis philosophy. All right, one of the things that, one of the reasons that I changed the name of my channel to Table Tennis Philosophy is I knew I wanted to take a little different take on table tennis, and it's still about table tennis, it's still about training, but when you talk about philosophy, you're trying to look at what's the reality, study what's real and what works, and we're just going to mix a little bit of philosophy in with table tennis and sometimes a little bit of table tennis in with philosophy. So today what we're doing is we're going to harder than I thought. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're looking at some common things that I see in training. Now, one of them is that I'll see over and over, especially with beginner players, but pretty much everybody I coach, and probably me as well. We're doing strokes, we're doing drills, and we're not doing them quite exactly the way they're supposed to be done. In other words, if our forehand stroke is a very long stroke one time, and then the next time it's short, and then next time it's in between, and basically you're getting the same ball but doing a different stroke every single time, that's not really helping your training as much as you might think. Obviously in matches you're going to have to make adjustments, but when you're training you want to try to do every shot exactly the right way. You want to get your feet in the exact right position. If you're serving, you want to serve it putting some thought into where you're serving it, what kind of spin, and how fast, how slow, and not just throw it out there and say whatever. That goes for pretty much any shot. If you're going to do say a backhand push, if you do it halfway, you're probably going to put it in the net off of heavy underspin. And in that example, you would want to get your head lower, closer to the ball. You want to get racket all the way under, scoop under the ball, and make the precise shot you need to make rather than just say, oh, underspin, push, whatever. And I know probably players don't think that they're doing that, but it's something that you want to avoid absolutely in training. Hopefully when you do that in training, then it carries over into matches and you don't have to think that as soon as you see an underspin ball and you determine you're going to push it, you just do it the right way because that's the way you always do it. And one of the things that has inspired this video also is watching a lot of the pros play recently. One of the hallmarks of a good table tennis player is that they are very fluid, very relaxed. They're using the strong muscles in their legs, in their abdomen, relaxing their upper body. If you've been watching some of the world championships, it's amazing to watch on television. Believe me, it's far more interesting and amazing to watch in person. I was not in Houston, but I've seen some top level players that are in the top 100 in the world, and it's really a thing of beauty. Very, very fluid, very, very relaxed, not panicking. But one of the things you also notice is when they're warming up, when they're making their shots, it's a very exact shot. Watching Waldner, for instance, make a forehand loop, most of the time he does it somewhat the same way. He stops at the exact same point every single time. He makes adjustments, and this is the most creative player that probably ever played, but still had a foundation of, this is my loop, I'm not just going to come up with something on the spur of the moment. People might not have expected him to do some of his shots when he did them, and that's what made him so unpredictable. But really watch any of the top players, really, if they're doing a particular shot, say several forehand loops in a row, or just watch them warm up. It's very, very exact. It's not a starting point in one place one time and a finishing point on the next shot a different place. All of that's the foundation that you have to build. And so when we're thinking about our training, make sure that you're not wasting your time by not focusing on doing the shots exactly the way you intend or have been trained to do them. You want to be able to do them over and over and over, and then when you get in a match, then you want to be able to take them and have to be able to do them automatically, because you've done hundreds, thousands of those strokes, and always do it the same way, always do it the right way. You always move your feet and get your feet into position. That's a big thing. If you don't move to the ball, you're going to have to adjust with your arm and hands. And this is where a little bit of my own philosophy comes in, because players watch me and feel like I don't really move a whole lot. The reality is a little bit of foot movement is way better than none at all. And some of my older students, that's what I encourage them to do. I said, I know it's hard, you're learning late in life, and you may have some trouble moving as quickly or adjusting, but you've got to get in the habit of moving to the ball. And sometimes one step makes all the difference, particularly if you're playing close to the table. So, point being, we're going for being very, very precise in our play, and being very, very precise in our training is what's going to produce that kind of exact shot that you hope to get in a match. Having said all that, obviously you have to have some unstructured training as well, because that's what's going to be closer to what you're going to see in a match. But when you have the question of should I be doing structured or unstructured, it really does depend on where you are in your development. There's no real point in doing a lot of unstructured training unless you've got a good foundation of doing all the shots the right way and having good footwork. At least coming up with a base that you can build on when you do unstructured drills. All right, that's it. Appreciate your comments. So see you next time.